Starting today's Veterans Advisory Committee meeting, first item on the agenda is approval of previous meeting minutes. Everybody had a chance to review them. Any updates or changes, anything?
No.
Okay, so by a show of hands, we are now fancy and we actually have cameras in here.
Oh, we do?
We do. So committee members, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Move to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Second. All right, so please raise your hand if you agree with the vote. Aye. All right, minutes are approved. So as you can see, we've got a full house tonight, so we're gonna go through some of these agenda items really quickly so we can get a chance to talk with the Legion, the VFW about the Memorial Day Parade. So first thing on the agenda is item purchasing. We have some other items that we wanted to purchase. We still need to get the business cards. Bob, did you figure out what we use for the town?
Yeah, the town uses a local company whose name escapes me at the moment, so that's not gonna be a problem with procurement.
Okay.
And anything else that we need to purchase, we have a protocol for that too, so
Yep.
it's not gonna be any problems.
What do we need to do to get the business cards? We wanted ones for our committee with our information on there and then ones for the stuff that Andy wrote out.
We can just create a rough draft of what we want them to look like and then present them and proceed from there. So, if you have some ideas, just send it along to me and we'll.
And then we also talked about tables and maybe a canopy and a pelican case as well. So I've got a couple of options here. We'll think about it for this time and we'll come back during the next meeting and we'll vote. I'll make sure I get this out on the agenda. So
Do we have to get 3 quotes on that stuff too, or can we just?
it's
Quote
less
go
than
with-
that.
It's all cheap money.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah. What I wanna do with, like I said, I wanna save some time for at the end for the Memorial Day Parade discussion, so I'll attach all of this stuff to the next agenda. We'll vote on it then and we can purchase it now, but just to give y'all a heads up. Holly was unable to make it, so and I did not receive an email, struggling with my email beforehand. So I'm not for sure the update on the food drive, so we'll skip that for this week. And Mateo is not with us as far as the Skill Bridge. On that, what did y'all talk about last time, during the last meeting with Skill Bridge? Did he have any updates?
I had gotten an email from him about getting into the process, looking at the program.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know how
they
far
weren't able to get
Justin
a
wanted to go with
person
it.
to come out,
okay,
but like,
so we'll wait until next meeting for that. Jumping down to the meet and greet, Sean, do you have any updates?
Yes, no, sort of. Okay, shifting gears a little bit from, we had originally talked about trying to have either someone on, either financial advisor or tax help, or it would even thrown out there for maybe best, application, people applying for benefits such as that. It was suggested that to maybe boost attendance, we try to do like a comedy thing, get a comedian to come in. So I'm bouncing a little bit. So going back to the financial advisor stuff like that was kind of a dead end everywhere.
Yeah.
Be it the time of year or just folks just don't wanna do it, or the people that would do it wanna come in and give advice, but oh, by the way, here's my business card, drum up business, so I don't wanna go there. So I did talk to a couple of folks about getting a comedian. If we have a budget that we can pay these people, depending on what you want, if you want, a headliner or just a regular guy that's gonna be like the middle of the when you do a comedy, go to a comedy show rather, and there's 4 or 5 guys, like the guys in the middle at the end, or the guys in the middle, you're like, they're not your headliners, so.
As long as they're fine.
You would pay accordingly, $100, $150, or if you wanted a headliner, you're talking a couple hundred plus. And then, as long as it's not on a Friday or Saturday, if it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, that'd be a little easier to get people, so if we wanna, want me to pursue that further?
Yeah.
There's a lady, Bob gave you her name, local lady in town, that she's a comedian, but she also produces acts. She will help us get somebody, or help us find someone rather. And I have a couple other calls out to some local folks that, one of them works for a radio station in town, or in Worcester rather, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them. But anyway, so if we want to hire someone, we have to maybe decide, how much we think we wanna pay to hire somebody. I'm gonna try and get a pro bono type thing, but if that doesn't pan out and we, so we have to maybe either vote on, a budget, so to speak, for a meet and greet, and how much we wanna pay somebody.
Well, we've got audience, so what we're trying to do is drum up interest in the town in what we're doing, what y'all are doing, and things like that. We had one meet and greet just to kind of introduce ourselves, but we wanna kind of do this on a continual basis. The conversation though that we had is, everybody always does, well, let's do one on benefits, and then nobody shows up because everybody's just kind of tired of talking benefits. So we're looking at some outside the box things to get people in, and then that way, once you get them in, you kind of, well, hey, there's also these other things that we can talk about as well. What's y'all's thoughts? Do you think if we had a comedian, we'd get some people to come in, and then we can set up Legion, VFW table, our table, and we can just kind of be there to pass on
One of the
information?
things, Jeff, when we had the first meet and greet, we tried to figure out what all the veterans in the town would want.
Yeah.
Okay, and we kicked a whole bunch of stuff around. We had 7 or 8, maybe 10 guys show up, and they found out some good stuff. But we didn't ask the posts what they wanted, what they needed, and I'd like to ask these guys while they're here now is bring it back to yours and bring it back to yours at the common, and ask these guys, what is it that you need? What is it that you need? Okay, and see if we can't tailor our program to help these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking is,
Well, I mean, I'll jump into this with you, but I'll be quite frank. We probably have 125 members at the American Legion post, and we probably have 20 that come to the post.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your problem.
Yes,
Okay.
We have 50 members and 15
correct.
So there's your problem,
Yep.
and it's something that we're trying to address. At least I am going forward. I'm gonna jump out on a recruiting program to see if I can get some people, because that's partly the reason we're here, which we'll talk when you're ready. But we do well over there with our members in support, but they don't come.
Right.
And there's nobody new coming.
Exactly, and that's why we're trying to think of, okay, we did the benefits one just to kind of, we're new, let's get out there and try to meet people so we can get their information, but it's hard. The Woo Sox, we've recently started partnering with them where they're on our list, so maybe we can get some of their players to come out. The Railers, Worcester Railers is something else that we're looking at through the parade. So it's just anything that I think that's different, that might make people stop in, and we could say, hey, all this is here, we've got these various things to help support you.
And every one of us know a veteran that is not a member of the post. Every one of us.
Yeah.
Okay, and we talk to them occasionally, but never about anything like a program like asking them what is it you really need, and
So you could do something like the police do. They have that police night out that they do out in the yard out here. You could do something like that, but you're not gonna get the veterans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the shame of the whole thing. How do you get the veterans? There's a lot of veterans in this town.
Yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them to come? The town is more than they're for us.
Yeah.
they'll support something for the veterans.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you get the veterans here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When you do your music nights, is the crowd a mix of townspeople and veterans, or?
It is.
Okay.
It is, but, you know, on a scale, on a percentage basis,
Right,
you know,
I agree.
probably 5% veterans.
Minimal, and it's probably the ones you were saying that show up normally.
Yes,
Exactly.
You know, it is a mix. I mean, we see people that we don't normally see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mystery, and then even if you talk to the uppity ups in department of the American Legion or the VFW, they're all struggling. Every magazine I get,
Yeah.
how do we get these Afghanistan people to join the VFW or the American Legion or the Iraqis or any of the most recent conflicts that we've had?
Yeah.
They're not coming. I don't know why, and they don't know why.
Well, after you have 4 or 5 tours, you're sick of everything. You don't want nothing to do with military. You don't want to do with anything.
well, and that's what I've heard from, like the Combat Motorcycles Vet Association. I know my buddy, he's a member of the one in Milford, and that's what he's told me is like a lot of the younger vets just, they don't want the structure. They just want to go out and have big experiences. Go and you ride your motorcycle somewhere, and that's what they want. So, but for us, and what we've talked about is we've got to look at the whole spectrum. So what do those young guys want? Maybe they want to start a business. Well, then let's make Grafton, very veteran business owned friendly. Older vets need help getting to the VA and other things like that. Okay, well, cool. Then let's work on that and let's figure out how we can help them out with that. So it's the wide spectrum.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, the town is with us. We're a Purple Hat town, and we went through all of that whole procedure with the Purple Hat people, and they got us the signs and stuff. So we're there as far as I send out letters to the membership that I have emails for, constantly saying, come down and use your post. We have a nice facility.
Yeah.
Come down and use your post. They pay their dues, but they don't come.
Okay.
Do we do anything town-wise or for families of veterans that have passed? I don't know.
I mean, what are you gonna do, Andy?
I don't know. Just be there for them or something. I don't know. I just thought.
A couple of, like, event, Memorial Day we got coming up, right, and Labor Day coming up, and those attract a lot of crowds, right? A lot of military people attend those type of events, right? So set up a little stand, just say, come by or whatever. I mean, because that's where you can get the most people is, something around that type of event.
Have you been to the Memorial Day
I have.
parade? Yeah. But I mean, once the parade's over, like,
Yeah, right, exactly,
This-
exactly. But there's nothing else there to,
And we just
Grab your
talked
attention.
about this. I mean, after every Memorial Day, after we leave the center, I always invite everybody back to the Legion.
Yeah.
We put out a little buffet and stuff like that, and we get a little crowd, but we don't get the people that we should get down there. So I don't know if they're afraid of the place or what. I mean, I don't think they are. There's nothing to be afraid of, that's for sure. But I like you say, they just go back home to their cookouts, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's to your point, though. That would be a good place to come up with something that you can announce to all those people that are standing around.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good time to get the word out if you come up with something to do.
Yeah.
And you, like I said, that's the email that I sent you. I said,
Yeah.
this will be upon us in the wink of an eye if we don't get going with it now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
You figure the people they're not just there immediately when the parade's coming through. They're there for a while before, trying to get their positioning or whatever, so they can hear what's going on.
Mhm.
But I don't know if it's crass enough, but put a few signs up somewhere.
Be grass, but
Within, not on the side of the road, but within the common, to say, if you wanna join American Legion, here's your number, here's your contact, wanna join VFW, here's your number, here's your contact.
you could do a number of things, you
you
could put
know?
a booth up and
Right.
and sell
Give them
tickets to
popcorn or
something, to a Railers
Yeah.
game or
Yeah.
or whatever, you know, and 10% goes to the veterans or something, or whatever you wanted to do, you could, you know, we've never tried any of that.
Alright,
Perhaps a
But I mean,
chicken
it's
barbecue. No, I know the town's done that in the past for the firefighters and the police up at the old municipal center there, so that's a possibility. We could announce it.
Yeah.
At the parade or before and leave it out there for the veterans, so.
But you gotta get them when you get them all together.
When you get them live in front of you,
I know.
it's the time to
Uh,
get them the information.
So Carmen, let me ask you a question. If you're having a music event at the post, and after you've scanned the crowd and you've identified all the veterans that you can identify by, you know, facial aware, you know, facial recognition.
Yeah. We got our cameras, well, we're high tech, we have facial recognition.
I was gonna say, well, that might be why people were avoiding
Yeah,
the
take a
post.
picture of all those people that are saluting.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked, you know, like show of hands, are there any veterans in the crowd that aren't members of the post? And then,
It's been mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
I used to be one of them. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I retired about 10 years ago. That's when I became active in the VFW. Until then, I was in the crowd up at the center of town. I knew all the guys standing, well, the majority of the guys standing out there. At the time, I didn't want anything involving a uniform or the military structure. I simply didn't. I had had enough of that when I was in.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to get away from it at the time. And time again, Danny would say, "Why the hell aren't you with us?" That's when I finally joined. But and I'm sure a lot of guys feel the same way. And I can't.
do you have a way of finding out who the most successful posts and legions are across the country?
Yeah, look at the ones that are still in business.
Yeah,
Because
right.
the reason I say that, a VFW post is in what they call District 8.
Mhm.
We just had a District 8 meeting Sunday. We had 3 posts get on over the course of the winter. East Douglas, Southbridge, and Southborough. Yes. They're just going away. They're going away.
So my company, we have various groups. One of them is a veterans group I'm a member of. And we're actually fairly active. And a lot of what they're doing is volunteer stuff. And, you know, for the younger crowd, that might be it. I mean, we keep trying to, you know, we're slowly building up these things that we do every year. And, you know, if we could start getting like volunteer activities, hey, we're gonna go clean up the common. I'm not for sure. But that's something that this group at work is very active in, and we get a lot of people that support it. And I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that's a lot of what our veterans group really focuses on is PTSD, injured veterans, volunteering to make it better.
Family stuff.
Yeah, there is a lot of family stuff.
Yeah, we need the family stuff, not just the veteran, we need the whole family.
Okay.
So the person that is the veteran has the support from the family and from us as well, so it's like the middle of a wheel, we're all supporting the veteran.
So it's
tough.
It's a mystery,
Yeah.
and somebody brought up a comment about the deployments that these last veterans went through.
Phew.
3 months, 6 months, 4 times, 5 times.
Yeah.
That's a way different than from me being in Vietnam for
Yeah.
a year,
For a year.
and then it's over.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep getting called back.
6-month deployments.
I did 2 back to back, so
How long was it? What were they?
7 months.
How much?
7 months
How
piece.
much home between?
Not a lot of home time. Might have been home for 3 months before training. They back
They-
up.
they-
and
they
then
could
back
just
out.
burned out.
Mine
They
was
burned- yeah, they
16
burned out.
months.
But they gotta realize that at some point, if they want to, we're here. But we gotta.
Still trying to decompress.
How do you get to them?
So I'm acquainted with a guy out of Milford who's an Army vet, and he's a member of an organization called Irreverent Warriors. And they get together at like a brew pub or a microbrewery. No membership, no joining. Here's where we're gonna be, it's gonna be on this night, it's so much ahead. Sample all the beer you want. So I think I might invite him to a future meeting and just see how they go about.
Getting them.
Because the premise is just get all the veterans in the room, start drinking, and which is, you know, probably what happens at the Legion Funds, right?
We do every day.
But this is,
Familiar, yeah.
but this guy that I'm familiar with is, you know, probably in his 30s, so he's clearly on the younger
Right,
side.
so these are the guys we're missing.
Yeah.
But I'll pick his brain. And then I have a friend in Georgia who's a retired Marine. He's actually an attorney for the VA, and he said that his hometown they have an annual veterans cookout. I'm not sure who they is. I'm not sure who puts it on, but I guess the town, someone in the town puts it on, and they do, you know, barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken. Everybody's invited. Doesn't matter who it is. Just come. It's, you know, to get veterans at an event with the general public, and then I'm not sure how they run it at that point. I don't know if they recruit or, but I mean, I think I'll reach out to both of these guys and see, because the guy from Georgia clearly would have to call in or Zoom in, but I'll see if I can get some information on.
We have a very successful chicken barbecue every year in September.
Yeah, but like you say, maybe people are just kind of nervous about going there, and if it was held someplace else, you know,
Yeah.
people might show up.
You know, the funny thing, you know, I think that was a comment I made, but I don't know why they would be. There's nothing to be afraid to go there about. You know, I mean, it's a good venue, both with the bar downstairs and the bar outside for the summer, and there's a yard, and it's very open. There's no, you know, outside of the language that you might hear from the veterans. That, you know,
I was gonna say, I don't think you need to mention that.
you know, that's about it. But and everybody seems to like the few functions that we do put on down there. But that'll get into where I'm going later on about why we need to talk to you people, because you know, we're just getting old.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's no war.
I'm 74, and everybody on my
like the day
board,
before.
yeah, right. everybody on my board and Stanley, we're all in our middle 70s, and we don't have anybody coming in.
Right.
77.
77.
And I'm 31, so I'm kind of like a
You're
little.
the new
No, I was
guy,
just
so.
trying to
Where's
write
your
that.
friends?
The only thing I keep thinking, and I'm thinking like in my situation, like it's hard for me to do anything because, you know, I've got 6 kids. I'm busy with them. That like by the time they're like dinner, all that, like it's 7:30. I'm like, I don't want to go out. I just like I just want to spend time with my wife, go to bed at 9, and then get up, go to the gym, go to work, and then just repeat the process.
Well, you got a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Six kids, I mean,
I know there's a fix for
Let's
kids.
spend whole-
No, I whatever, they're not all mine. But you know, like what I keep thinking is like, I'm just wondering if that's like another thing that's difficult for younger veterans is like they're starting families and like trying to, you know.
Well, I think we have a couple of good ideas. I like the comedian thing. Maybe that's something different enough. I could talk to the group at work and see what they think. You've got a couple of ideas. If you could talk to your members and see if they're interested in anything.
I mean, you could do that, Justin, because you know years ago, probably 20, you know, we used to bring a comedian over the Legion. His name was Bucky Lewis. I think he's still out there somewhere. But anyways, and it was fun,
Yeah.
you know. But the whole stand-up thing has taken a turn the other direction now too. So you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
Might turn off
You
something.
know, but that was, we had fun doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to do a lot of things like that years ago. And, you know, we had Christmas parties, we had Valentine's parties, we had a party for all the different types of things that came up through the year. And then people just stopped coming. The family thing stopped. You know, we had kids' Christmas parties every year. we can't even get a Christmas party for the kids anymore.
I think less and less of the population.
I don't know what's going on.
veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less than 1%.
They just, the whole family thing, that's a big part of anything.
Yeah,
If you can get the whole family to come
Yeah.
and involve, because
Yeah.
he's not gonna come because he ain't leaving his 6 kids.
Bring the 6 kids.
well,
If
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had kid events,
too.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
bring them.
If you
But
wanna
I'm
get-
not gonna bring them to like I'm drinking at the bar.
No,
You know,
no,
so it's
no.
I do wanna get Stanley's thoughts and then we'll move on, cause I have a couple of other things that I think will go to what we were just talking about.
There's a brand new American Legion post in Auburn called the Tuttle Post. Yeah, it's beautiful. They did it all over, and all the other groups throughout the state supported them and helped them financially because the place burnt
Where's that
down.
ground?
And so it was brought back up. A friend of mine, what they're bringing around to a lot of places is cover bands. They're bringing cover bands. And I already know they had a cover band at the VFW post in Millbury. There was 2 shows.
Oh, that's right too.
The Clarence Clearwater Revival cover band, and they were tremendous. There was 2 shows, sold right out.
Sold out.
And people was at the first show, they went and bought more tickets for the second show. Well, the Tuttle Post is ready to do, and there's a gentleman from Millbury that does all their setups for these groups, all the equipment and things and stuff. He's the one that told me about the Tuttle Post. And he says, but listen, there's gonna be so many tickets, the tickets they're gonna sell, and that's it. You know, you just can't walk in and say, hey, I want a ticket to go. They sell out the tickets, make sure it's under control at the Tuttle Post, and they'll set up a stage. And we just had something that me and Red went
I
to.
was gonna mention that.
We were invited by the elementary school to go there for for
Right around Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
To the middle, it was the middle school.
Yeah.
And I have never been so impressed with kids in my
Kids,
life.
they all came.
They call them kids. They call them kids, and then it's these are young adults. They were discussing the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. You know, Memorial Day is to honor the dead. Veterans Day to honor the guys that are still with us. Stan got up and spoke, and he was an outstanding speech. And he just said, "Well, I was in Vietnam for so long and stepped in a lamb and got a leg blown, lost a leg." And the whole room went dead ass silent.
And
Yeah.
the principal of that
Yeah.
school was tremendous.
Yeah.
From the school in Grafton.
Yeah.
At that school. He was tremendous.
Absolutely.
We met with him, and he did a lot. He did this, and it was on that stage,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked so well that
Okay.
me and him, we want to do it again because it showed, and basically it was all the kids from the school that were there, and they were tremendous. Now, if it ever got out that you had entertainment there with their mothers, their fathers, their sons or their uncles or their grandfathers were veterans, and it was put on because there's a plan, what we'd like to go further, there's gonna be a lot more of us on the stage with the flags and certain people's.
It was a very
And-
short notice when we got there. When we
Yeah.
got this invite.
But there was a lot of the students that had grandfathers, and they had these big pictures that these kids had, and they put it on. Plus, they asked when it came to the end, that principal said, "I want everybody to stay silent. I don't want to hear paperwork, anybody leaving, coming out of the auditorium." Well, what they did is they had a big flag painted, and they played taps. And all the kids were like, and they walked out, there wasn't a peep in that building. One
Like I
peep.
said, they call these people kids. It's kind of insult. They're young adults.
Yeah.
I've never been so impressed in my life.
But you had a captive audience.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you already got They're already there. We gotta get people there.
Yeah,
Well, so the next item on our agenda is one of the ways that we wanna do that, that's, we talked last time about having like a veterans welcome package. We're still kind of figuring out the logistics for this. Jeff should be able to let us know when new veterans move into town. And Lucas, you put together a letter.
Yeah, I have a letter that I wrote up. Yeah, here we go.
And due to time, what we might, if you wanna email that to me, I can
Yeah.
add it to the agenda for next
Okay.
time. Do you mind just giving us the quick rundown?
Paraphrase,
Huh?
paraphrase.
It basically just goes over to like we're extend a heartfelt welcome to come to our community, be part of our family in the town. And it on here it's it's like we got a veteran service office, which I believe is what's his name?
Jeff, yep.
Community events and organizations, which would be the VFW, health and wellness programs. I know we were gonna see if like the gym would have like a veteran discount to go use that. What's the one over here by Stop and Shop?
Anytime fitness.
Yeah.
They offer one.
Which they may already do, but like having that in there so they know like
Yeah.
and then that's kind of it. And then the rest of the packet would be like different businesses in town that maybe have like veteran discounts, maybe even get like special like if they're willing to do it like veteran coupons, to what's the Mexican place? Cancun's, like they'd be like, oh, if you're a veteran, like in the packet you get 15% off your first meal or whatnot, and then basically we just get put into an envelope and sent to their house when they're new.
And then the second thing, I'm sorry, I'm kind of speeding through to make sure that we have time, but then the other thing, I'm gonna go out of order here, but and we used to do kid deployment lines. So when you were on base, the kids would come in and they would kind of walk through what the military members would do before you left for your deployment. And a lot of the kids had fun. Granted, you had access to the base, so they would get like army helmets and gear on and things like that, and they would just kind of go to the different posts. Well, we talked about doing that. Mike, do you have any updates for that?
Yeah, so can we get like a dog tag machine, like
I don't know about a machine, but
Like a-
we can get dog tags, I'm sure.
I saw one for sale recently.
Oh, really?
That's why I'm asking.
Kids would love that.
Yeah.
If we talk to, I'll keep going back to WPA. That was the battalion, ROTC battalion headquarters.
Yep.
They had one there at one time, and I don't know if they do it or if they do it at Devon's, but it's a possibility, maybe get some random ones made up.
I think the guy in the Army Navy store in Hudson has one, I think.
Cause
Even if they
you
were-
can get the blanks pretty good, I mean, cause
Right.
I think that'd go up, you use coincide like with the kid's name, phone number, like so in case the kid's get lost or something like that, you have dog tags.
Yeah.
Way for identification, probably.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, like fake military shots, you could do substitute that like with like gummies.
Real shots.
Gummies, real shots.
Give them
Or
the
pills
pills.
or
Yeah,
plenty
yeah,
of something like that
PPAPs.
or something. Fake like that.
You can get smallpox injection.
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
Like PT exercise like sit-ups, jumping jacks, minor plays,
Sorry,
all
okay.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, put up something.
Get things like a military truck, like National Guard may be able to like bring a truck or a Humvee or a Jeep or
Yeah.
a truck.
Northridge
Yeah.
has it.
I know that the gym I used to go to out in Mendon, they got some very good tie-ins with the Marine recruiters. And they've actually brought military trucks in for events, for like truck pulls, things like that. So
Oh,
it's been
nice.
pretty cool.
I don't have to worry about recruiters anymore, but they still kind of give me a shiver.
Yeah.
They're not going to leave me alone. But
You are right for that.
I do.
Not
So-
anymore.
No, I still do because
You got out.
I did, but officers keep their commission.
Okay, I do.
Because
This
of
is
our
really
members.
nice.
Well, yeah, but so going to what we've been talking about in these different ideas of trying to get people involved, trying.
It's tough.
And the kids deployment line, it could always be, hey, who
That's
your
where it
host.
goes back to
Yeah.
like a kid event.
Yeah,
Like younger kids that
I think that, I think everybody's could be barking up the wrong tree here. I think maybe it's time to attack the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys that are 30 to 40 years old, because they still have families that they're taking care of, and they don't have the time to be a veteran
exactly.
right now.
It-
So if you attack the family thing, everybody's invited, the wife, the father and the kids. And you could come up with some kind of event for veterans and their families. That might be the way to get them, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know, I've been thinking about it a long time, because we're dealing with attrition over here at our post, and
So we're gonna try a wide net, and maybe so the kids deployment line we're taking this one slow because there's a lot of moving parts with it. But maybe we can tie this into the speech that y'all were just talking about. Hey, you do that, and then hey, this is what these guys went through. I'm not for sure. I just would like to be able to tie these things together to where then we also can send them home with some various information about this, and hopefully get people more involved with this. So, for the Jim Gallagher Memorial event, do you have any updates for that?
Yeah, so I reached out to, there's a gentleman that has an annual 5K for a memorial event for one of his family members who committed suicide, and he holds it here at the high school. So when we came up with the idea of doing a memorial event for Jim Gallagher, who was an Army veteran, but was active everywhere in town meeting, here at the TV studio. And so I reached out to this gentleman just to find out how exactly he set it up. And he gave me some great information, and he thought it was pretty easy to pull off. He said, why don't you notify the school, why don't you check with the chief to find out whether or not you need a detail. He said, you can have your event on the grounds. So we had measured it out. I had actually walked around the campus, and one lap around the entire campus, starting and ending right here, is 3/4 of a mile. So you do 4 laps and you get your 5K. They also sent me a link to a company that registers people for 5K events. So they hopefully can do some of the heavy lifting for us and help not only to promote it, but maybe even get people to pre-register, knowing full well that it's not a competition, it's a charity fundraiser. So I'm gonna pursue that. And as I said last month when you missed, Anzio's Pizza said that they would participate, bring the truck, and David Meridian said he would help promote the event for us, and I'm thinking of reaching out to some of the politicians in the Worcester County area, see if I can get some, maybe some sizable donations, so.
Might also wanna try to reach out to the scouts and see if they could help run things like stand at different places,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah,
They're
going
always
the
up
wrong
for
way,
stuff
going the
like
right,
that.
yeah. Well, that, Holly's our scout contact, so.
Yeah. So that'd be another event that we can have y'all participate in instead of the table.
That's a good one.
That's all I got.
Okay. So with that, we've got plenty of time. I'll turn it over to you and Stan.
Okay. So you're looking at it here. Each of us have e-boards, and I'm nervous about the Memorial Day parade. I'm old enough to remember when it went away and we got it back, and I don't want it to go away again.
Yep.
But we're running out of manpower to do the things that we do.
Okay.
And we can still do a lot of things, but there's some things that I don't wanna do anymore. And Stanley and we need some support, whether it's from the town or from the advisory committee or something like that. As far as the Memorial Day parade goes, it's strictly about the Memorial Day
Yep.
parade, okay? I mean, we'll always be there for the Memorial Day parade to put our color guards in and get the vehicles, or I can give the contact for the vehicles to somebody else to get, or as far as Knight's Limousine, Mike Hogan's the best. He's been driving us around from cemetery to cemetery with the details for years now, 30 years maybe, and he'll continue to do that. He's a good guy. Andy's been great with the Boy Scouts, we need them to continue doing the whole flag things, putting the flags out in the cemeteries and stuff like that, because none of us can walk around that long anymore. You think I'm joking, but
no,
I'm not.
I know exactly how you feel, that's why I'm laughing.
We're to make it, to pull it all together. And one of the biggest things, and I've been the guy that kind of does all the organizing and speaking at the Grafton Center or at the end of the parade and everything. I don't want to do that anymore. I think the town should take ownership of that, you know, and a few selectmen that sometimes come up and speak or whatever, let them invite the politicians.
Yeah.
David's always there for us consistently, Meridian, he's the best, you know, but you know, then Senator Moore, he pops in if he can or if he's around, you don't know if he's coming or if he's not coming. But that whole closing ceremony at the thing, I think that should be presented by maybe the advisory committee or the town itself, instead of me blabbing up there, and that would take a lot of work off of my shoulders that I have to do, and then we can concentrate on the fact that we're the veterans and we want to be in the parade.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying it from the point of view where I'm scared because there's nobody coming. I mean, Stanley's got Mike who just stepped up in the VFW. We don't have any younger guys in our membership that want to even, you know, they'll be members, but they don't want to be part of the e-board or the committee or anything like that. It's hard to get people. And it's hard to pull that whole thing together with the school buses to drive the band around and all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, to get the bugler players, I have everything that you need to do this thing with. The prayers that need to be said, the veterans, the honor roll that has to be read. You know, I have all of that stuff. And Andy usually, the past couple of years, has come up with a couple of guys, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, to read Flanders Field and the response and all that kind of stuff, which is what you need to do on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe have someone speak a little bit about why we have Memorial Day, what a poppy is, why is a poppy, and where did it originate from, and that kind of stuff. Because we get a lot of young people up there, and like, you know, many times people have come up to me and they said, how come you only read these names, they only read the names of these guys right here? This is because these are the dead guys that came from the town. We're not gonna read, you know, a million names.
Everyone who died in World War
Just the
II,
people
Vietnam.
that died that were from this town. And but people don't know why we're reading those names. And what do you mean the honor roll? What is it? So, you know, where do you go with this to get people involved in it? Do you maybe, you know, have somebody from the town or from the advisory committee, you know, do what Stanley and Red did, go to the school where you got a captive audience of young people and explain to them what Memorial Day is, and do they want to be volunteers in it and helping out or do something, I don't know. I just don't want this to end. The parade is a good parade, it's nice to have. We've been lucky, no rain the past 4 or 5 years, but I don't wanna jinx us.
Would you be opposed to the idea of presenting what you just presented to us to the select board?
No, I could do that, I mean,
I think if we got on the agenda and you
yeah, I
made
mean,
the appeal, I think that.
you know, I've talked to Stanley and I've talked to, you know, my guys and everything like that, and they see it the same way, you know, Joe, I mean, Joe, we're busy running our post over there, you know, to keep that place from going under, like a lot of posts are going under and stuff like that. But I just think that it would be, I don't know what the impact is. I mean, everybody loves to see the parade come down the street and everything, but, you know, maybe the town should speak to its people on that day, not the commander or the post or the commander of the VFW.
Yeah.
And maybe
I
time to,
always tell people that you won't get what you want unless you ask. And I think that people are not gonna step up, I think they like to be asked. Like, you got a minute, come and help me, you know, and most people who say, yeah, sure, I'll help you, they won't turn you down. And I think maybe at the events, I'm not telling you how to run your event, but you might consider that might be part of the presentation. You like this parade? We need your help.
You need to
And
help.
then see what kind of
It's,
response.
it's like, I'm a realist and,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be the never-ending commander over there.
Mhm.
So everything that I got has got to go to somebody else, and there's nobody coming.
And you're gonna need help planting flags again this year, right?
Right,
Right.
we always do that, and all the flags we got collected last year, Joe wrapped them all up, and they're all in our pavilion area over there, and we're gonna just put them out for free, on Memorial Day, on the thing, and then Dave Callahan told me that, Jeff Farrell told him that he has new markers now for Afghanistan and Iraqi, people. I guess you gotta ask Jeff for them or something. I haven't talked to Jeff,
I heard
but
that.
I didn't know that.
he's got some new markers, and I'm sure he's got our flag order already in. But we'll, Andy's got every person cataloged in the cemetery. He knows where
Yeah.
everybody lives there. So,
Talk to them every day.
Did they answer you back?
No,
Okay.
and the Boy Scouts.
We're good.
So
Now, is
we'll
that
need,
an issue getting people to help with? Seeing the flags?
I have Boy Scouts go out and clean veteran stones prior to Memorial Day. So when we put the flags out and stuff, the graves are presentable. But I think what I can do, what I should do, and possibly do is invite anyone from the town
Well, I was just thinking, you
to
got
come
the
out
middle
and
school and high
help
school, you
the Boy
probably could
Scouts
ask
do this and
them if they
get
wanna
them
volunteer.
involved. I don't know.
okay, so with that being said, that's something like, I have to get the flags, and then I have to meet everybody at the cemeteries, and I have to say, okay, this is what you do, and give everybody the flags and stuff like that. So I'm looking to shed that kind of stuff from us, little pieces at a time. Now, I don't wanna give it all away all at once. I'm not ready to go yet. But I just see it coming, and unless somebody young starts doing it, we're gonna be in trouble, Stan.
Last year at Fairview Cemetery, a group of people came to that we knew that there was talk about them coming. Well, normally it would take us a good 2.5 to 3 hours to do the whole cemetery. Last year we were done in an hour because of the help that came in. They all had the clipboards, they all knew, and it was because
My wife's group, they go and take the flags
it
off.
was like we were
put 'em
like
on
we couldn't believe that we were done so fast.
Yeah.
And the help was well received.
Oh,
They do St. Philip too,
Yeah.
Carmen, for you.
Well, what I was thinking was when you were talking about, like, you guys were talking at the school, like, that'd be a great opportunity to, like, you have a veteran talk, explain Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and then be like, we need help with cleaning up the cemetery, putting the flags out, and they could bring, like, a paper home to their parents,
Sure.
and they could have it signed, and then,
Sure.
like, you could have, because, like, I know the Boy Scouts do it, but again, like, you're pulling from a very small group of people where it's like, you got the high school, you got the middle school, you could probably go there, and, the high school kids could easily help with helping clear all the things, and you got the middle schoolers
They all have to do some type of community
Yeah,
service.
the high school
They
does.
don't
Right.
know what to do.
Right, exactly.
So-
So that's a good day for them to
Yeah.
to do
Okay.
something.
To go talk to
service,
if they wanted to have like a big ceremony or whatever, I'd go talk for 20-30 minutes about why we celebrate Memorial Day with the school.
Well, and we have through Phil, through the 4th of July parade that we do. My neighbor Phil, his wife works at the high school, and they actually have a volunteer coordinator that works there. And we've always struggled because it's 4th of July and everybody's gone. But should be something easy that we can ask Phil to, or I could get that contact info, make sure it's accurate, and send it to him and say, hey, we need high schoolers to volunteer.
That's an idea, and like you said, if you don't ask, you don't know, there could be a lot of kids that wanna come out and do that,
I've got one kid that did the whole old cemetery across my high school. and he says, every year I wanna put the flags up. For as long as I'm able, I'm gonna do that, so that's another cemetery you guys don't have to worry about.
Yeah, my daughters have helped me, quite a few years, and they always enjoy going, cause while they're putting the flags up, they read the stones, and they see, this kid was 20 years old, and, Joe Maz, I was just telling these guys that, Joe sent me an email last week, and it's this whole big thing about the age of the people that fought in the wars. I mean, the average age is like 20 years old.
Yeah.
And it listed all these names of these 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds who lied about their age and stuff. And it had the how many veterans got killed on their first day in the combat zone, and how many veterans got killed on their last day in the combat zone. And it's unbelievable.
I mean, when I deployed, I was 20,
Right.
turned 21.
Yeah, I was 20 years old myself.
My twin brother was 19 when he did his first deployment.
So it's pretty amazing, and those are facts that I wish everybody knew. When you think about the people that are protecting us.
Oh, my last deployment in Afghanistan, we hit the deck because of mortar attacks, and the 18-year-old airman's like, "Why are we over here?" I get it. I know September 11th, but why? I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You weren't really
Weren't alive
young
when it
enough."
happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
no sense of like.
yeah, and took my time, explained it to all of them, a roll call, and they were just the look on their face. Oh, I didn't know this. You lived through this, and this was what you were doing.
It's hard to explain to today's kids.
Yeah.
It really is. They don't see the need for it or the want for it or anything.
What they see is this.
Well, I mean, like
And they get the game
I'm still in, and I get new recruits that come in, like out of basic, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't even really know what 9/11 is because they weren't alive when it happened."
Yeah.
Ancient history, yeah.
It's like I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, I'm the old sergeant.
The old crusty sergeant.
Yeah, these kids are coming in and just being like, I don't know any of that.
You need your coffee mug.
But you look good.
So, Carmen, I think a good way forward is you and I can work together to determine what all you're wanting help from us, and then or the town, I should say, and then we can just kind of get a list of, hey, will you do the stuff at the end? Will you do this? And so we have a way forward.
Yeah, we're still, we'll still march, have our veterans march in the parade, we'll have our color guides. And, and then there's a few things that the commander would say, ask the sergeant of ours to come up and say, why are you here? And he'll say, to honor the dead, blah, blah, blah. And then the firing squad will, and then he'll take over with the firing squad and do the firing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm all in on all that kind of stuff. I don't know if just because I'm getting older, I standing in front of 200 people don't work for me anymore, and maybe it does for some other people, but I think it would be nice if it came from the advisory board or the selectmen. I mean, even the chief of police, who's great for us, he does a great job. I always ask if he wants to say it, and he's like, no, I'm not saying it.
Well, and I figure once we get that done, then and Bob's idea of getting in front of the select board. I'll be honest, we're like one of the few committees that does that, and it's usually because Bob's like, you need to go in front of the select board again, and so that gives us a lot of face time with them as well.
Yeah.
And we can pitch all of this, we can have you pitch it too, and we can have it decided, hey, we want you to close out, select board, we'd like for one of y'all to close out the ceremony. We can handle what we were talking about earlier, Flanders Field, and explaining all that stuff, but we just need one of y'all to close it out.
We're one of the few committees that when we go before them, they actually sit up and smile. They don't.
Yeah.
That's
They look forward to what's coming.
And we would need a contact for the high school to get the band together and the bugle players, if they are live or not live, that would still have a bugle that they would hold and play or whatever, for taps. That's big, and then speakers to read the prayers. Walter Wayner, he's our You know, he's a Korean War veteran and he's 80,
90,
he's
90
90,
90 this year,
90
90
this
last
year.
Yeah.
And
He's the chaplain, right?
He's the chaplain of the VFW, and he looks forward to doing it. But you know, he said to me, he said, "I don't know how much longer I can."
Yeah.
So I can't stand
this
here
too,
and do it.
You know,
I said,
so
well, we'll get you a chair, which you said, well, like hell.
Well, you know, we've got, we know somebody that works at Natick, we know somebody that works at Hanscom, and they all have chaplains, so, that could be an option as well.
you know, there's a lot of things that somebody could do to better the parade. You know, once somebody else takes charge of the parade, and we've been, you know, the Stanley and the VFW and the American Legion, we've been doing it for forever.
Yep.
And there's probably so much more that could be done to make the town really have a great parade. Although I think the parade's fine right now.
I was gonna say the town is.
I like the new route. There's no uphills,
Yeah.
no downhills for people to walk or march on, and I think it's fitting that it ends at Grafton Center where all the monuments are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but so just to go, you know, and we would like to make this happen this year if we can.
Yeah.
Get someone to.
I don't think, we don't need a vote on helping out with this, right?
I don't think so.
And we'll continue to, you know, and then when the time comes that you know, the Jerry Ravad is the guy that gets us the vehicles, and plus the town is paying for this all the time, so they might as well get involved in it. They have to pay for the vehicles and any other expenses that we might have, and we've cut that back over the years, but the vehicles are usually about $300 for each vehicle, so if you got 3 vehicles, it's gonna cost you $1,000.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and you know, and then we pay the buglers, you know, I think what do we give them, $25-50 or something, I can't remember what we give those guys. And other than that, it's still pretty turnkey, but it just needs different players.
I think, maybe just a loose diagram or a loose memo of, we'll call it the civilian side of it and the military side of it, whereas, you know, you said sergeant at arms, you know, I'll call that the ceremony
Right.
at each event, at each monument. So if we put on paper the civilian part of it, so that when we go to the selectmen and say, hey guys, look at, this is what we want, we would like you to do for the parade, and then the posts and the sole veterans will do this piece of it. And
It's pretty turnkey, you know, once you get
Right.
up to Grafton Center, it's
Right.
on the speaker, you know, and like I would say, these are my notes, you know, Commander, thanks everybody for being here, blah, 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 and then say a few words and say, who's there, and then ask the politicians to, David usually does the governor's proclamation, and then it would be, and then after all is said and done with that, that's when the commander would step up and call the sergeant of arms up and say, what are you here for?
Yeah.
That would be the military part.
Right.
And that's where we would come in. We would have nothing to do with all the other stuff
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
Once we assemble.
I have no problems with it. So I may ask you a lot of questions because I just want to make sure that we're not stepping on your toes on overhandle on this piece.
We're not worried
But,
about that. We just, you know, we know what we wanna do, and we know our limitations because of our situation with no young people around and stuff like that. So we're working on it. You know, like I think my job going forward, on top of being commander, is gonna be to try to spearhead this recruiting to get the veterans out back into the post. And
Now, Common Youth Plan to still have the meetings like we had in the past at the post planning Memorial Day?
yeah, we should do that. I mean, we can do that this year.
Stoney was coming to some, I come with Walter anyway, so we get 2 people from the committee
Right.
coming.
And like I said, things move fast now, you know, it's end of March, you know, next thing you know, so we got 2 months.
Yeah.
To get this going, so we should probably have at least 2 more meetings or even 3 more meetings. And as you find out stuff that you're gonna talk about, we'll know better on how we're gonna go forward with it this year. But and then it's good to keep that up. I mean, I can tell you, I'm a nervous wreck, a whole week before Memorial Day. And we're trying to, Joe's cleaning weapons, we don't even know if we got enough people to carry all the weapons, we don't know if we got enough people to hold enough flags right now. So we can just concentrate on that from the military side, as Sean said.
Yeah.
Get that done, and nobody will have to worry about, the speeches or the, political people.
So, we need to get on the select board calendar then in April. Beginning of April, cause I think they don't have any meetings next week, do they?
Hopefully so.
So when would you like to have another meeting that works for everybody?
So because this is not a committee thing, we are helping, we don't need to have our committee meeting with the agendas and all that stuff. So
Right,
you let me know what works for you. and
okay,
then
so I'll
we'll send
pick a
there.
couple of dates to have a Memorial Day meeting over at Outpost.
Okay.
And we'll get together over there and put some stuff
Yeah.
together.
It may not always be me because of my work schedule, but I'll make sure that
I'll
one
be
of us
there
attends.
anyway.
Yeah, Andy's
And,
always
and I
there.
did talk to
So-
Jeff a couple of times last year, and I think he intends on being in Grafton this year. I think that he
Yeah.
told me that he was gonna try to be in Grafton this year. And I already put out an invitation to Dave Meridian to try to be with us this year. He had to run between two towns last year. And if I got my invite out early enough, we might grab him again, but he's always, since he's from town, he likes to come. But I already did invite him.
Okay.
And then I think Jeff's gonna be, he might be a person to speak also, being the veteran agent of the town.
No, I like that idea, and he has his just forgot her name. Ashley
Ashley,
that works in there
Right,
too.
Ashley works with
she's
too.
there Tuesday
Yeah.
all day and he's there Wednesday all day, so.
She was here.
And maybe,
She was.
and
I think she marched with us.
maybe in the speeches this year, we should incorporate someone like Holly to speak so that her people can see
Yeah.
her in front of all of the Boy Scouts
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Maybe she should have a few words to say.
Yeah, well, she does the cleanups with us, I mean, she should have
Right.
have something to do with the parade.
Right.
I think.
So there's many things we can do.
Yeah, I like that idea, and I was thinking that, you were talking about the poppies and why we're celebrating recognizing Memorial Day. That might be something good that we can also add into the speech to get some more people to the front to.
Right, like last year I tried to explain, what Flanders Field was, and I tried to explain what World War One was, and
Yeah.
who fought in World War One. It wasn't like, just two countries, there was a number of countries, fighting, and we were actually on the side of China, and China was on our side during World War One, which is a total flip-flop of what the hell's going on now, So it's nice to explain to the kids that are there, and even the adults that may not know.
Yep.
But anyways, I thank you for your time.
Anytime.
There is one thing, we have worked with the town, we've worked with the guy down at the Fairview Cemetery, Darryl Roberts. He's ready to order and buy the flagpole for the cemetery across the street here.
Okay,
So hopefully for Memorial Day, we'll have the flag in place, flagpoles in place.
Yeah, I'm gonna schedule some time to go over there and take a
Yeah.
look now that the weather's better.
So that's finally agreed on, finally we get all those veterans over there, finally gonna have a flag so we can honor them, so.
okay, that's good.
Okay.
How you doing with your
My list?
your list?
Well, I went into the census for 1930 this afternoon. I got 167 World War One and Spanish American veterans from Grafton that are on that list, said they were veterans. I probably have 90 of them, so I still got some work to do. I'm gonna see if I can find any of those guys that are buried in Grafton, and if I do, it'd be the first time they've ever gotten a flag since the day they were planted.
Yeah.
So
Check on those guys down at the state hospital.
Yeah.
There
I'm
could be somebody in there we
working
don't
on
know.
it too. I got the 14. I've got a lot of information on them that from 89 different sources. But I want this year to give the list to the town as a read-only file. I'll give it to the library, and say, anybody in town can look at this thing, this is the link to it, you can't change it. Okay, I'm the only one that can edit it, but I need a backup someplace that, if something happens to me, I don't want this thing to become a dead list and not ever get updated again. We're gonna go someday and I want us to be in it.
When I look at it, yeah.
It's, that old saying, it's later than you think, pal.
I know, right? That means he's already got y'all's names on the list. That's what I, that's what I read into that.
Yeah, right next to you has pending.
Yeah, there's asterisks. Alright, for the committee members, do you have anything that y'all wanna discuss?
No.
Okay, next meeting, committee meeting will be April 18th at 7 o'clock. And, have a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Alright, show of hands, everybody motion to adjourn. Lucas is the only one not, yes. This meeting is adjourned, thank y'all very much.